Hi guys, welcome once again to another edition of Mouth of Mark Online. Improve your English skills and learn English conversations online with Kumar. Hi guys, welcome again to another edition of Mouth of Mark Online. Your place for English conversation and life skills, tips and tricks. For today's episode, we are going to learn about euphemism. However, on a personal note, I am going to discuss to you the two phases of euphemism. Now, euphemism is used to soften or underplay words or phrases or expression that is very unpleasant and embarrassing. It is a substitute expression that turns a vulgar and a blunt one into mild, indirect, and polite one. It simply means to make a harsh statement inoffensive. However, some have abused, and invented new words or phrases to cover up the real thing. And that's what's bad about it. Let's move on so you can know, or you will know, what am I trying to say. Check this. For example, the word fired. Fired is euphemized as the management wanted to curtail redundancies in the human resource area, so many people are no longer viable members of the workforce. It's a very long explanation that euphemizes the word fired. You are being fired. They want to say goodbye to you. However, they have another way of saying it. The management wanted to curtail redundancies in the human resources area so that people are no longer viable members of the workforce. But George Carlin would say this was invented to conceal us of something that is very misfortune, or the misfortune of other people. So as you can see, this is not a misinformation, it's true. However, it neutralizes the hurt, it neutralizes the pain and the anguish of those people that have lost their jobs. So it neutralizes, or it erases the negativity of the reality that those people are really out. Let's move on. For example, the word "you are fired." The euphemism for these words, or for this particular statement, is "we gotta have to let you go." Well, I agree on that. That's a very positive way to say to a person that he is fired. Would you consider another career? That's another way, or a good way to say or to tell someone that he's fired. Or, "we wish we could keep you, but you have been considered redundant." Okay, that's also another way, or a good way to say to a person that he's fired. Well, that's a very positive way of using euphemism. How about this one? "She is a fat woman." How do you make this a more polite and acceptable way? You say, "She is a curvy woman." Curvy, very nice word, right? "She's big boned." Okay, other people would say big boned, not fat, not obese. Okay, big bone. "She is floppy." Okay, this is a very good way of saying to a person that she's fat. But these are positive way. You don't want to hurt the person. However, while this might lessen the sting or the hurt of your comment, this might also be a reason that somebody will ignore their health conditions and they would not go for a diet because they're just curvy, they're just big bone, they're just fluffy. Okay, that's another side of it. Okay, it's a positive thing, but also it could have a negative effect. Let's move on. Cripples, handicapped, and etc. You call them now people in need of special assistance. Okay, the word cripple is not really bad. However, some people would consider it very hurtful, very insulting, and very embarrassing. However, if you look at the Bible, and even the Bible itself, there is no insult associated, according to George Carlin, there is no insult associated to the word cripple. In fact, Jesus used that word in his story that he heals a cripple. Okay? However, because a lot of people are very sensitive, we use now people in need of special assistance. And you have to be very aware of this. Another one. This is a 20th century word for cripple. They're called differently abled. Differently abled. Wow. That's a very nice way to call somebody handicapped or crippled. And here's a bonus. People are not called handicapped anymore. They are called handy capable. I don't know. Maybe it also erases or like buries the hurt and the embarrassment of being handicapped. However, there might be a negative effect on that. And of course, the other one is the physically challenged. The physically challenged people. Where I would say that these particular phrases are very good way of describing people or crippled or handicapped people. However, while these phrases remove somehow the insult and the embarrassment, some radicals would say, like George Carlin would say, that they don't really change the condition. You don't change the condition by changing the name. So what should we do about this one? Let's be honest about it and let's look for some concrete solution to why this is happening to them. Let's not bury their agony and their pain into the words that we associate with them, but we don't really care about some programs that could really, that could really cure or help them or alleviate their situation. Okay? That's a very hard thing to say, but I think for me personally, I would agree with that. How about this one? He is blind. Now, here's how you call blind people. He is vision impaired, or he is vision impaired. This is a very nice way to say a person is blind. Another one, he is partially sighted. He is partially sighted, or he has lost his sight. Okay, instead of saying he's blind, that's very hurtful, right? So you euphemize it by saying these phrases. Okay? Again, this may remove the insult and reduce the negativity of the slant, but somehow it sounds a denial of what's the real deal. Has he lost his sight? Is he partially sighted, or is he really blind? That's the issue behind there. Now, it's up to you to think about it. How about this one? He is ugly. Now, there's nothing more I can say. This is a really bad statement. How do you make it positive? You say, he has a very distinct feature. That's a good way to say, he has a very distinct feature. He has an unusual appearance. Okay, some other people would say unusual appearance, unique appearance, but actually the meaning is he is ugly. He doesn't look normal, but you don't want to say that to a person that he does not look normal. You just want to say he has an unusual appearance. Very good. He has an appearance deficit. Okay, this has been a long debate of psychologists that they call people ugly people who have an appearance deficit. Okay, this is very difficult to counter, of course, I should say, because you really have to find a way to say something true without hurting these people. Okay, so it's really up to you now. How about the next one? I have a technical problem. Okay, this one. He is stupid. Okay, some people would say he has a learning disorder. That's a very good way to say that the person has lacking of intelligence. He has a learning disorder. He is minimally exceptional. Now, this is a very good phrase. However, I don't really agree when we use this one, because if you're a parent, would you How would you accept when their teacher would tell you, hey, your son is minimally exceptional, right? Well, it's a euphemism of the word stupid. Instead of calling your son stupid, you just say minimally exceptional. He has special needs. This is a very good phrase. However, again, on the flip side, this might be a challenge to some, but it is sometimes used by parents, especially from where I am now. It is sometimes used by parents as a denial of the real situation of their children. And even medical practitioners would use this as a denial. So you completely bury the hurt and the insult in the jargon that we don't anymore know what is really the correct approach and the correct alternative or the method that we could do to heal or to cure this particular situation, because the real situation is already completely buried under that jargon, under that euphemism. So that's the flip side of it. I agree that we should tone down our comments on this particular situation, especially that these are very sensitive topics. But sometimes when we use this jargon, it buries the real situation, and sometimes we don't know anymore how to react, what approach we could use to address the particular issue or the particular situation or condition of that particular kid. Okay? So I hope you understand my point. Now here comes some controversial ones. So it's up to you. When an attack kills innocent people, damages homes, hospitals, schools, it's called collateral damage. See? A military attack is called armed intervention. So you see, the euphemism hides the original meaning or the original reality or the context of what is the real situation. See, collateral damage, but these are innocent people being killed. A military attack is called armed intervention. When an army or a police takes someone away without any other means or any legal means, you call it extraordinary rendition. Wow. That particularly hides the real situation or the real thing. She can't sing. She has an unusual voice. See? So these are the things that would make the euphemism bad. It hides, it buries the real situation under jargon. Remember, sometimes when we are using that soft language, it takes the life out of the word. And since languages is a function of time, some real meaning of the words got lost in translation and even got worse. This is the last example. Before, it was cell shock, the condition of a people in combat when they click that they cannot take any more instruction, they call it cell shock. Then it became battle fatigue. And then the same condition became operational exhaustion. And in the Vietnam War, it's called post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, these phrases buries the humanity and the hurt below that jargon, beyond that jargon which says PTSD. But again, the great George Carlin would say, if we had called this condition shell shock, then all of these Vietnam veterans would have got the attention they need. They would have been treated the correct way, because we know the correct reality, the situation. So sometimes that's the bad thing that happens when we bury and when we pacify the real situation with this soft words rather. So euphemism should be used in the most applicable context. I would agree. It should not be used to bury the reality in a jargon. It aims to tone down hurtful expression, should be in the process not kill the very message and truth behind the word or expression itself. So when we use euphemism, We should not bury reality, but we should only be concerned of making the hurtful phrase into a soft and polite one, but not really disregarding or burying the reality. Thank you again, and I hope you learned something today. See you again on the next video. Bye bye.